Are you dairy free?
I've been dabbling.
That's the softest thing I think I've heard you say in a very long time.
I've been dabbling.
What does that mean? What do you mean you've been dabbling with dairy?
I've been experimenting with some dairy. I've been adding some of it in.
Okay. Keep dabbling with dairy. Today's episode is brought to you by Dabbling with Dairy. Hey, what's happening, you guys? And welcome back to the Proclivity podcast. I'm your host, Joel Cochran. I'm here with Emily Rodella. And Emily, what were we talking about right before we started the podcast?
We were talking about dog farts.
So we were talking about dog farts. We were talking about dog farts. You guys, we're so happy that you are here with us today on the Proclivity podcast. We love that you guys tune in. We really appreciate you. And today is a daily drive. What's a daily drive all about? It is a short, compact podcast, ideally done within your daily drive. So this isn't one of those 5-hour-long podcasts that takes you a month to listen to. Emily loves those podcasts. She loves to send them to me. And then I look that it takes 5 hours and I'm like, how did you even listen to this with a child and business? I don't even understand how this works. You do have a decent amount of driving. That does make sense. Ideally, we're going to drive home the point today of life hacks. We're going to talk life hacks. We've been in this game, you guys, for a long time. And there's certain things that we have figured out that work really good and are really effective. And so we're going to give you our top 3, my top 3, and Emily's top 3 life hacks. And you can use them. You don't have to use them. Maybe it's going to work. Maybe it's not going to work. Yet we've put a lot of repetition into these life hacks. And you can take them or you can leave them. So, Emily, you ready to hack life?
Yes, let's go.
You don't necessarily like the word life hack or biohack or any hack, do you?
You're correct. No. It can feel like I'm trying to cheat the system in a way. That's what I think of. But we're not about that.
Are you saying you're not a cheater?
Correct.
Have you ever cheated on a test?
Once, but that was a past me.
That's right. We've left that behind. It's good. That's good. You're such a little angel. Don't ask me. Negation acknowledged. Let's talk about the definition of life hack. So this is the definition that we came up with. And Emily, I'll see if this resonates with you. A strategy or technique adopted in order to manage one's time and daily activities in a more efficient way.
I'm much more a fan of that. Yeah, that's a good definition.
Cool. So your perceived definition before has changed with this one. Cognitive reappraisal. Isn't that awesome? So let's dive into the strategies or techniques that you've adopted in order to manage your time and daily activities in a more efficient way.
Yes. All right, you ready?
I'm ready. Let's go with yours first and then mine. Or should we go back and forth?
Back and forth. I like that.
Okay, great.
Okay. Number 1. First. So you may have heard me talk about this. At least our clients have heard me talk about this. And, when you go through what I call a funk in life, whether it be a couple hours where you're feeling extra sensitive, extra emotional, certain things are affecting you, or you're just having a hard day or time. I call it a funk. And for me, the most helpful thing to move through that more efficiently and feeling better is the ability to talk to yourself like you would a loved one. And it's a way to separate myself, to be like, hey, when you're in something, it can feel so serious and heavy. But if you can separate yourself just a little bit and pretend like, okay, what if I was telling this to my sister or my best friend? What would they say? Right. And it's a way to become the scientist and get that bird's eye view. And that detachment really helps me like literally like take a deep breath, go, oh, it's going to be okay. And here's a plan of action rather than sitting in that heaviness and like feeling like there's no way out. And so for me, whether it be maybe my, this might resonate with a lot of people out there. It's like, oh, my pants feel tight. I don't feel as good in my body. Or it's a relationship
Mm-hmm.
issue, whatever it may be. If you can just like pause and remove yourself and say, hey, what would someone that really loves you, what would they say in this situation? What would they tell me what to do? It's
Mm-hmm.
almost like being your own coach. And really, for me, that helps to give me a sense of direction and detachment to breathe for a minute and go, it's going to be okay. This is what I can do.
Hmm. Hmm. So when you do that, if you're like getting up into like can you give me an example of it?
Yeah. So, um, yeah, there's times where just mentally I'm like, man, am I doing the right thing? And again, it's like it relates in all areas of my life. And I just feel like I'm stuck and I'm like, dang, like this feels really hard and heavy, like on my body, on my mind, and just don't feel good. And I don't feel like my happy, joyful, usual self. And I go, why am I feeling like that? Because I know like that's something I would ask my friend, like, hey, what's going on? Like, where's this coming from? And so I think of the questions as like a
Mm-hmm.
coach or someone else that would be asking me. So I ask that to myself.
Mm-hmm.
And then I be gentle with myself without judgment, because your friend's not gonna be like, oh yeah, you shouldn't have done that. It's like, why'd you do that?
Mm-hmm.
Or let's look at the outside factors, right? And start looking at the situation without judgment and high emotion. Does that
Hmm.
make sense?
I gotcha. It does make sense. Uh, we say in the Proclivity method, curiosity over conflict. And that sounds like what you're really doing is like nobody likes when you have a family or friend who like makes a lot of statements, points you out. You shouldn't be doing this. That's the wrong way to do it. It makes you feel really small, really minimized. When people ask you and want to know your opinion, you feel very included and
Mm-hmm.
inclusive. And so by being able to ask our own self those questions, oh, why are we feeling this way? What's going on there? It really helps us to be um, inclusive with
Yep.
ourselves.
Exactly. Curiosity over conflict. But that's the thought of that has really helped make me transition into that state of curiosity much faster.
I love it. So interesting because I'm the mindset coach and none of my top 3 life hacks have anything to do with mindset.
I think one of them does. What's the first one for you?
Yeah, okay. You might be right. The first one is MCT oil and electrolytes. That has been an absolute game changer for me. I do quite often intermittent fasting or 2 meals a day. And being able to have some MCT oil and electrolytes first thing in the morning, that's like my morning concoction. I actually throw in collagen as well and creatine. That's my morning drink every single morning. And it's a perfect start off with being able to have the creatine, the collagen, the MCT oil and electrolytes. It hydrates me. It gets my sodium, my potassium, my magnesium. I got the creatine in there for some brain function, MCT oil in there to be able to give me some energy without having to lean into coffee. It's really my go to. And if you guys haven't given it a shot, I use Bubs MCT oil and Bubs collagen. Really great company. They donate 10% of all profits back to charity, which is awesome. And they have a really clean product. And so if you don't know Bubs, go get them. Do we have
Yeah,
a,
yeah,
a
just
code for them as
proclivity
well?
at checkout.
Proclive at checkout gives you guys a discount as well. Um, I would highly suggest if you aren't hydrating first thing in the morning, give at least MCT oil and electrolytes a shot and see how it feels with you. You are going to want to start off a little bit lower on your MCT oil, or you might have a little bit of a stomach ache. So maybe half a
Mm-hmm.
scoop and then work yourself up to a full scoop. If not, you might have a little stomach ache and then you might connect that morning drink is upsetting your tummy, then you won't do it at all, which is not what we're looking for.
Mm-hmm.
That's my number one.
Electrolytes. That's my favorite out of all the things you listed. Electrolytes, big game changer.
Huge,
Yeah.
huge.
Okay.
And then we do Element too as well. That's our electrolyte. And there's some other brands out there that we support, yet Elements are our game. All right.
Number two, this
is
because I used to struggle with a lot of GI issues and cravings. And ever since I switched from focusing more on meals versus snacking, I have had less GI issues, less cravings, better energy, and better body composition, to be honest, too. So I give this recommendation all the time. Can we focus on 2 to 3 bigger meals a day with a big focus on protein and then whole foods otherwise? I promise you, you might feel a little overly full the first time you start to practice this, but I promise you're going to feel much more satiated and not need the snack. And there may be times where like, I'm still craving something in between. Okay, cool. Try electrolytes, go on a walk, breathe, right? Try some different things. I promise you, your body's going to transition really well, and it's going to help you become more metabolically flexible too.
Yeah. That one of the big things, if you're listening right now and you're used to like daily, you might feel bloating. Oh, man, I just feel bloated throughout the day. I don't feel like I'm fitting into my jeans. There are days where I say like I'm traveling or I'm with family or it's a special event and I'm like with family all throughout the day and there's constant food out and I'm eating constantly. It reminds me of that bloating because I don't have bloating when I eat. I have my meal and my stomach feels full and then I take a walk and it helps digest and I feel fine. But holy moly, like the days that I end up having like I'm just kind of snacking. I eat something, and 30 minutes later, I'm going back and eating a little something else, and maybe an hour later, eat something else. I'm so distended, and it creates if I feel sluggish, it can create a poor image with myself. Going to meals, and specifically, majority of the time, 2 meals a day, there will be times where I'll have, say, some eggs and a protein. A jerky stick.
Beef stick.
What are they called? Why am I? Thank you. Beef stick in the middle of the day to get some protein. But beyond that, I'm majority of the time 2 meals. And so it does take a little bit to get used to that shift of like, whoa, that feels like a really big meal. But after it, you feel so free because you can go 4 to 6 hours, no food.
Exactly. Yeah. And it makes sense if you have GI issues that if you are snacking too much, it's going to cause GI issues because your body's constantly having to reassess. Like, so for food to move on from your stomach, it has to be high acidity. If you keep adding food to that, say every hour, every 2 hours, it's going to change that. And food's going to end up fermenting in your stomach, causing that bloating, gas, discomfort.
That makes sense. Okay. That was your number 2. My number 2, 2020. I don't know if you guys remember that pandemic came. I used to manage 2 CrossFit affiliates, Double Edge Fitness. They're still there. Go check them out. Great gyms. And I had every single piece of equipment that you could possibly have. And then pandemic hit, and I went down to 2 dumbbells. And this is where the dumbbell program, the 30-day dumbbell program, was born. Was how much can you actually get done with just 2 dumbbells? And what I found was extraordinary. By doing a 20 to 25 minute dumbbell workout every day, I was not only able to keep my body composition, but I would even say improve it. And I barely lost any strength. When I went back into the gym a year and a half later, and I deadlifted for the first time, I deadlifted 405 pounds, which my max is 425. That is a high percentage for only using dumbbells, never touching a barbell in a year and a half. And what I realized is that this saved me time. It's very comfortable because I could do it in my room. And I lost this pressure of like, I have to get a workout in at the gym, or it has to be a certain way, or my heart rate has to be this high. What I realized is that no, actually, I get incredible results 20 minutes a day. Now, is that every day? Yes. 5 to 6 days a week. There might be one day that I'm off, but the mixture of dumbbell strength workouts and some running, maybe some mountain biking, some other activities I like to do in zone 2 truly was a life hack, because I was able to save so much time, which then I was able to focus in on my nutrition and other components of my health, which helped me to have such a more rounded um, lifestyle
Yeah,
and
that's
health.
been one for me too, as a mother who also works and is, yeah, juggling different things. It's been a to have a 20-minute program, a workout to go to, do in my garage or my living room. It's a game changer for me as well.
Hack it. Okay, number
Number
3.
3 is our breath. Similar to my first hack of like when I'm feeling upregulated or in a funk, but just in general, again, as a mother right now of a toddler, where there's lots of roller coaster moments of the day of emotions with him, with myself, my reactions, his reactions. Um, Going back to my breath is extremely
Mm-hmm.
helpful and comforting, and it helps me reset and move forward in that best day attitude that Joel has. So being able to go, I can take a deep breath and assess the situation, because when you take that deep breath, that calms your nervous system down
Mm-hmm.
and activates the logic part of your brain to think things through more clearly. Without that, I would be constantly running in that fight or flight state and not thinking as clearly, making as good of choices. And so, if we can go back into our breath at
Mm-hmm.
any moment where we're feeling upregulated, it's huge. It's the best go-to tool for myself.
Mm-hmm. I completely agree. When you feel yourself get upregulated, guys, there's a couple things that uh, that I tell people to do. These are immediate tools you can do. 1, start breathing. 2, change your scenery. 3, start asking questions. If your breath is in your chest and you're making statements, you're in fight, and there's nothing that's going to change. You're just going to keep
Mm-hmm.
climbing the ladder. And if it's with your husband or your wife or your friend or your boyfriend or your girlfriend, you're just going to keep climbing the ladder with them. And you guys are just going to be in this really aggressive fight. We need to come back down. Sometimes what that means is that, hey, I need a change of scenery. I need to go around the block and breathe to bring myself back into a down regulated state. And then I'm going to come back with questions,
Mm-hmm.
not statements. And that is a savior for so many relationships, whether it's business, whether it's personal. Those steps right there can save you.
Mm-hmm. What's your last one?
Live at 3/4 full. I ran multiple businesses. I have done coaching hours through the wazoo. Um, I have donated my time. And through all of this amount of time, I always tried to hack the system. I'll use a better emailing system. I'll use a better calendar system. I'll, figure out how to do this or that better, faster. What really came down to is that no, I need to say no when I get my cup to 3/4 full, so that I have the space to take on the random things that are going to happen in the day. All of a sudden, my car breaks down. Oh, that's okay. I have space. My kid doesn't want to put on certain jeans, aka Emily's kid, and he's losing his mind. And you're trying to leave
Mm-hmm.
10 minutes ago, or maybe 20 minutes ago, or maybe half an hour ago. How do you manage that if your cup is already full? You cannot. So then you lose it, or something has to get pushed down the line, or something has to get pushed back, or you feel yourself driving faster. Now you're mad at people who are taking their time driving because they're living at 3/4 or maybe in half cup full.
Mm-hmm.
It all starts with being able to say, I live my life 3/4 full, not full tilt, not this make, every moment count. That can trick us. Best day ever. I don't know about you guys. Best day ever for me. I'm cruising. Like after this, Emily and I are going to go get some chocolate at Sprouts. Why? Because we can. Because we live 3/4 full. Gia might come too. Who knows? I don't know. Maybe Niner will be there as well with his mullet. The whole point, guys, is being able to say no to live 3/4 full. That gives you space to be able to take on your day.
Such a good one for parents. Holy moly. That's been huge for me as well. All of them.
That's right. That's right. So, you guys, these are our top life hacks. They may work for you, they may not. If you have other questions about these, feel free, reach out. We would love to be able to chat with you. And we'd also like to know your life hacks. So go ahead, leave us a review, put in there what your life hacks are. Of course, throw a 5-star. If there was a 6-star, you could throw that too. Put it in the review so that we can check it out, take a look-ski at it. Emily, anything else on life hacks?
No, I am complete right now. Thank you.
You are complete. You are complete. All right, you guys, thank you so much for tuning in once again. Daily Drive, we got it underneath the 30-minute mark, which is always our goal here at Daily Drive. If you've enjoyed this, please give us a review. If you want to know more, head to our website, www.proclivity.co. And if we don't hear from you then we'll hear from you next week on the next episode. And until then,
best day ever.
Best day ever. Emily, you had 2 options. You'd either have to, for the rest of your life, have your hair long, like how it is now, or short. Which one would you pick?
Like how short?
Short. Like what's the shortest you've ever cut it? Was like the last time you're at double edge. Yeah.
Oh man, that's a tough question too.
That's a tough question.
How it is right now? Long.
Agreed.
Yep. What,
I'm a big fan.
You are a big fan? No.
Oh yeah.
This can
short hair.
It can get challenging, like washing it. Like my hair is heavy, so I get a headache when it's in a ponytail for too long. Like all these little, little things. But I like the look of it better. I don't know if anyone out there cares, but
oh, I care, and I believe Gia cares too.
At least we care.
And if Shelby's listening, she would care as well. So that's all that matters. Okay, that was my question.
What would you choose?
All right.
For you.
For you?
If you could be bald.
Oh, for me.
Or a month overgrown. Which one?
That's like none of those. You didn't even give me a chance to look good. You're like, you have to be bald or in that awkward stage where you're only a month grown out. Like there's no sexiness to that. Are you trying to keep me single for the rest of my life?
I'm trying to ask you a hard question.
I gave you at least a little wiggle room. I didn't say like, hey, you can be bald or you can have a buzz cut. Which one do you want?
Okay, fine. I don't know.
Go ahead. Try re-asking the question. I'm ready again.
There's no good question off of yours. No, because your hair is just the same all the time. So
my hair is all the same all the time. The question that I think is, do I keep it? Do I keep it the way it is now, or do I grow it out in what Gia says I should have it out as?
My vote is keep it the way it is now.
That's my vote too. Sorry, Gia. But maybe, I haven't had my hair grown out in a really long time, so maybe it's time to.
It'd be fun to see.
Grow it out. Yeah, it would be a really awkward stage for 3 to 6 months.
Agreed.
I wasn't. Anywho. All right, guys. Thanks for tuning
See
in.
ya.
See you later.